morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at Scrafty. Yeah, we've still got Darkness Pokemon to be looking at from Infinity Zone. That's kinda cool. Now, our translation here does come from the lovely Antoine Boulet, one of our very, very favourites here. And if we start off with the basics, we've got 120 HP, which for a Stage 1 Pokemon is fine. I still think there's too many Pokemon that do naturally 120 and you'd rather have 130, but I don't think it's a terrible problem. Retreat cost of 2 gives free retreat with Air Balloon, but do remember I showed you Hidden Darkness Energy earlier today, I want to say? Depends how the upload schedule works out, but I think earlier today. And that gives free retreat to any Darkness Pokemon it is attached to, so very much worth bearing in mind that if you don't want to use Air Balloon, you've got that other energy instead, though I do rather suspect you're probably going to want to use a bit of the old Air Balloon. We've then got a weakness to Grass, which is honestly fine. Rillaboom decks still look good, Rillaboom decks still not taking over the format. And being a Darkness Pokemon did just get a lot more fun. I've already mentioned Hidden Energy here, which is quite nice. But we've also got Eternatus VMAX that does 30 damage for each Darkness Pokemon you've got in play, but also has an ability that is literally a Sky Field. You can have 8 bench Pokemon, as long as you only bench Darkness Pokemon. Lovely. And of course, there's that Piers card I showed you the other day. Piers lets you search for a Darkness Pokemon and a Special Energy, and I did point out in that video that because we've got Crobat, who is literally Shaman, but you can only use one of the abilities during your turn, play it from your hand to the bench, draw until you have 6 cards in hand. So I think Piers is going to be a really good card, because you can search a Special Energy, could be a basic, but it could be a special, and Crobat, but it is more designed for Darkness Pokemon, so we'll go along with that a little bit more. And we're going to have Black Market Prism Star surviving the rotation, which is a lovely little stadium card. If you've got Darkness Energy attached, you give up 1 fewer prize, which in the case of Scrafty means you don't give up a prize. Good work. Go team! Alrighty then. But what does it actually do? Well, the first attack is, it's alright. It's kind of interesting, it's kind of fun. 1 Darkness Energy, 30 damage. The defending Pokemon cannot retreat during your next turn. Cool. It's one of these. It's one of these where you do 30 damage and you stop your opponent retreating next turn. Really is as simple as that. And it's alright. It's not really a game-winning play most of the time, but do remember we have Boss's Orders around at the moment, and we have quite a lot of these Pokemon that have an attack that stops your opponent retreating. It's quite a common thing we see, and it's one that I would really, really ask you to bear in mind here, because this can be a game-winning attack. Not often, but it absolutely can be a game-winning attack. Because with Boss's Orders, you drag something active, preferably with a high retreat cost, preferably that hasn't got any energy on, and you just lock them in the active. Classic example would be something like Diancie Prism Star. Retreat cost of 2, having a retreat cost of 1 is super awkward, because they can just use that to retreat. Side note, if your opponent's playing Twin Energy, Diancie won't do it, because Twin Energy won't let it attack, will let it retreat. And then you just stop them retreating. And I've seen plenty of games won with this tactic, some including by myself. For a long time, I was a gigantic fan of the Garchomp from Breakpoint. And when you played that Garchomp, you had to play a Gabite, and the good news was there was a wonderful Gabite that for a single energy did 20 damage and stopped your opponent retreating. I won a mirror match once because my opponent had a Hawlucha active and didn't play any switching cards because they were playing Hawlucha and Garchomp, both of whom had free retreat. And Hawlucha had 1 attack that can only attack Pokemon EX and a resistance to fighting. So I won game 1, and in game 2 I just waited till he had a Hawlucha active, announced Sand Tomb, and explained to my opponent, look, we got 10 minutes left of this game. If you want to play it out, happy to play it out. Just warning you in advance, I'm going to keep using Sand Tomb for nothing, you've got a resistance, until the end of the game. I've got multiple cards that can let me shuffle my hand into my deck and draw a new hand. So there is absolutely no way you can possibly deck me out in the next 10 minutes. And I've already won game 1. So, unfortunately, and at the end of game 1, I did have a look through his entire discard pile and made sure he didn't play any cheeky switching cards. He literally played 0 switching cards and went and won. My friend Tommy, my good friend Tommy Roberts, he did a very similar thing with Snorlax against a Hawlucha, because Snorlax had a natural ability that stops your opponent retreating, and Hawlucha can't attack non-EX Pokemon. So, and Tommy had to wade through a few switching cards, but Tommy just waited till his opponent was out of switching cards, left Snorlax in the active, his opponent lost. I'm not saying this is a reason to play the card, there are a million different Pokemon that can basically do exactly this, but I very much am saying that keep this attack in mind, it's really nice for hurting your opponent. But with story time over, let's go to the second attack, which really is the one which mostly fills our heart with joy here. 1 darkness, 2 colorless energy, and it does 90 damage. 90 damage is fine. But if you played Piers from your hand during this turn, you in fact do 180 damage. Oh. Yeah, that's quite a bit better, ladies and gentlemen. That is quite a bit better. 180 for free energy on a single prize Pokemon is a little bit nuts. That is really, really good. Now, I mentioned Piers earlier. Piers lets you get a special energy and a darkness Pokemon. So what I love here, let's say you've got a Scraggy down. You play Piers, you grab your Scrafty, you grab your Twin Energy. Non-GX, non-V Pokemon, Twin Energy will work very nicely. And then all of a sudden, you've got Scrafty rolling in a single... You've gone and got everything you need. I suppose it hasn't got rolling in a single turn, because you still need Scraggy in the energy turn 1, but you've still got it rolling faster than you otherwise might, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then you hit 180. Now, it really depends what you're hitting for weakness here. Now, one of the good things is there is a very, very relevant Pokemon that Darkness Pokemon are hitting for weakness at the moment. It's Dragapult VMAX. Dragapult VMAX, very good Pokemon, weak to darkness, 320 HP. You're hitting 360. You are easily getting a KO on a free prize Dragapult VMAX. Oh. I mean, to be fair, I'm not expecting Dragapult to be nearly as good when this set comes out, because I do believe Eternatus VMAX is going to be a proper top-tier powerhouse deck. It looks phenomenal, and when your giant top-tier powerhouse deck hits weakness against you, that makes you, less good, ladies and gentlemen. Less good. But you can use this instead. And you can save Eternatus for a moment. You can save Eternatus when you really need to take it down, something bigger down, and then this can come in and help you out rather beautifully indeed. My point here is it's a very nice non-GX attacker. The problem is the energy. Playing Piers really isn't a problem. Generally speaking, one of the downsides of playing a supporter that doesn't draw you cards is that we generally want to be drawing cards during our turn. But because you can use Piers to grab a Crobat and Crobat to draw until you've got 6 cards in your hand, that kind of eliminates any awkwardness we might feel about not drawing cards. So you're good in that regard. We're happy. Life is fun. The difficulty is just the energy cost. And now the good news is Piers will literally search you out that Twin Energy. You don't need to be playing 4 Twin Energy. You can literally play 1 and search it with Piers. Not to mention, being a Darkness Pokemon means you've got Weavile to move energy around the board. You can move your Darkness energy around. Doesn't work with Hidden Energy because Weavile does specifically mention that it only works for basic Darkness energy. That is a little bit sad. That will scupper you. But one of the things we really like about Weavile is that you can evolve it using red and blue. And if you discard a couple cards from your hand, you also get to search your deck for 2 basic energy, which will definitely be Darkness, and attach them to Weavile. So you can then use Weavile to move the energy around, and life is good. That'll get it rolling nice and quickly. The energy is a little bit awkward, but between Weavile and Twin Energy, I think you'll be able to figure it out. And then you're hitting for 180 for free energy. Now, 180 will get basically any single prize Pokemon, unless Wailord magically becomes super popular, and I wouldn't be upset about that because I love me some Wailord, but let's just say it's overwhelmingly likely that it's going to one-hit KO any single prize Pokemon. It'll get some of the weaker GXs, but nothing that like the Dene, I suppose. Nothing too relevant. It will get some Pokemon V, and most importantly, Crobat. You're not getting VMAXs, you're not getting tag teams, you're not getting many Pokemon V, you're not really getting many two-prize Pokemon. But you are getting Crobat. And we do have Boss's Orders and Pokemon Catcher in the format. So my last real point here on Scrafty is, yeah, you actually will get a one-hit KO on a Crobat, as well as a Dragapult V and VMAX. And actually, that's pretty gosh darned relevant. There's a single prize Pokemon that can take out what are going to be some very popular multiple prize Pokemon. That makes it extremely worth having a look into. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so there we go. That's all I'm going to score you, have I? Between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. Very, very nice tech in Darkness decks, but we do still have to worry about the cost of the attack. There we go. Now that's what I think about this, but I'd like to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.